Welcome back. We're now joined by Ibrahim Abdullahi, who is a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria. He also to shed or give us his perspective in terms of what can be done to move us from where we are. Morning, and thank you for joining us. Well, for a moment, looking at the welcoming slide, I thought, is Alhaji Ibrahim Abdullahi looking a little younger these days? But then, tell us, let's get your impression about this, because not long ago we talked about human capital development, talking about research, and these are things that, well, it said that many don't pay a lot of attention to. What's your impression about what we need to be doing now that we're in this situation about the economy?
Research and human capital development is crucial to the development in any society. Perhaps this has been one of the reasons why we've been failing in developmental efforts in Nigeria. Poor research is conducted and much emphasis have not been laid on human capacity building. I can say for sure that in the public service in Nigeria today, whether at the federal, state, or local government levels, human capacity building is at the lowest ebb presently. There's no political will to incube serving public servants across the nation on how to perform efficiently and creditably. Funds are appropriated annually for training of the workforce, but these funds are diverted to other ventures. To that extent, so far, public functionaries have continued to emphasize the fact that the engine room of any administration is the public service. But research and human capital building has not been given sufficient attention practically.
Well, talking about specific attention, I mean, it wasn't long ago when the president did say that he wanted the institutions to focus more in terms of their curriculum, entrepreneurial studies, and then raising questions about the technical schools, improving the skill set such that you don't just depend on only one thing. It's in terms of what we can then do. Isn't that identifying what needs to be done and addressing it?
Thank you very much. Mr. President's statement on this is a very dynamic step in ensuring that human capacity building is given attention. While talking about entrepreneurship in these areas, we should always also look inwards and see what we can do in the public service system so as to make the public service relevant to the goals and objectives of the government.
Well, you've spoken about public service.
So I should commend Mr. President on that.
Let's hear your recommendation then, since you were talking about the public service. What would you rather be done about that service?
I was happy when I listened to the new head of service of the Federation when she identified the fact that human capacity building had been at the lowest ebb and that her own administration will give serious emphasis to this so as to ensure that the public service performs creditably. Beyond rhetorics, we should do whatever is right. Unfortunately, most of the time, public functionaries speak, but they do not act in that way. They could be limited in terms of funds. They could be limited in navigating their way through the government to ensure that what they plan to do are done. So I look forward to Mrs. Oyoeta does what she has promised, and I look forward to seeing the permanent secretaries and top government functionaries at the federal level supporting her. And same should go down the line to states and local governments.
Now, sir, do you think that for states who say that they do not have enough funds and are looking to retire their staff or lay off some of their staff, do you think that it's a personnel management issue?
Surely. It is lack of attention for the welfare of the public officers that has led to the issue of lack of training for the public officers. When officers are engaged, they should be placed on their jobs, they should be trained on what to do, and they should be retrained from time to time. The dynamics of administration is to ensure that people are made to know what they should know and acquire desired knowledge. So when you are now talking of shortage of funds, it has just reared its ugly head in the area of payments of salaries and wages to public servants at the state and local government levels. What civil servants at all levels, local government, states, and federal government have been bearing, you can only see them, you can't hear them. That is the rule of the public service. So they can't complain, but their leaders, those at the top who should plan for them, were found to be diverting money meant for training to other areas. Consequently, we have low productivity, lack of motivation, and lack of good performance in the public service. So if we have to have the type of public service the nation deserves, we have to give attention to training and retraining. Lack of funds must not be the excuse whatsoever.